The spiritual lineage of the Universal White Brotherhood was founded by Master Beinsa Deunov, also known as Peter Constantinov Douno of Bulgaria, in 1897. Master Beinsa Douno taught that the qualities of humility, obedience, honesty, goodness, intelligence, and nobility are foremost in spiritual practice. He explained that one should walk the path of love, wisdom, and truth. The Universal White Brotherhood believes that God is in everything, in the stones, the plants, the water, the air, the animal people, and the light. Following the principle of Ahimsa, or non-violence, Master Beinsa Douno practiced and preached a vegetarian diet. The Master was also an accomplished musician and composer of many spiritual songs and compositions. Master Beinsa Douno delivered close to 4,000 discourses and lectures that were recorded in shorthand by his students. The freshest manuscripts were then later presented to the Master for his approval to be published. Master Beinsa Douno once said,
"I have come to reveal love, bringing love to earth, that is my mission. Study my talks and lectures to speed up your evolution."
We will now continue to read a selection from Master Beinsa Douno's lecture entitled The New Day, held on January 17, 1940 at the General Esoteric Class in Izgro, Sofia, Bulgaria. The New Day, new directions in the conscious life of nature, pressure and tension, enlightened life. Only the Divine can make you happy. Those who can use life conditions and opportunities according to the divine laws will fulfill all their heart's desire. Therefore, no one can balance the forces of pressure and tension. No one can cope with life's conditions and opportunities unless they apply the law of love as a supreme expression of inner wisdom. Love is the starting point of a meaningful life. At the same time, love gives freedom. It is said in the scriptures that you have not kept your promise to the first love. The interpretation of this verse is not very precise. Love cannot be divided into first and second. Love is one and never changes. The phrase, keep a promise, in this verse is related to understanding. So the verse says, because you did not understand love. In his epistles to the Corinthians, the Apostle Paul said, love never fails. It is true that God's love never fails. Love always endures. But human beings cannot endure love. When in love, one feels expanded and ready to serve oneself and others, family, society, nation, and the entire humankind, ready to serve God, the divine providence in the world. If you do not serve the great intelligence in life, whom else would you serve? Service for the divine includes service for all. When you serve only yourself, it is like you live in a hut. When you serve both yourself and your fellow man, you live in a palace. When you serve yourself, your fellow man, and God, then you live in a paradise. You live in the great world. Where do you want to live? In a hut, in a palace, or in a paradise? That is up to you. Everyone determines their own dwelling place. It is all right to live at any place, but paradise is preferable. When people come to the forces in life, they move from pressure to tension. After that, from tension to pressure. And finally, from pressure and tension to a meaningful life. When one is between these two currents in life, pressure and tension, that person searches for a way out and finds it in the conscious life. Therefore, we say that pressure and tension lead people to a meaningful life. In this respect, do not doubt that when you have outer and inner difficulties and obstacles, that is a sign of the divine being with you. It is said in the scriptures, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. John chapter 5, verse 25. It means that those who hear the voice of the divine, the voice of love, will live. and it implies that those who hear the voice of love will rise, awaken, and resurrect. A person who has risen loves oneself or loves one. A person who has awakened loves many, loves the society. A person who has resurrected from death loves all. The divine life includes these three processes of rising, awakening, and resurrecting from death. It is a life of wholeness and absolute manifestation of inner wisdom. There is a polarity in pressure, good and bad conditions, and in tension, good and bad opportunities. However, contradictions do not exist in a meaningful life, but harmony and unity reign there. After balancing the influence of external conditions and internal opportunities in oneself, a person enters the divine world and receives divine guidance in life. Only in this way the human life becomes meaningful. People need a healthy mind to be able to cope with the contradictions in which they are placed. Sound thinking comes from the light brought by love itself. In this sense, by love, it is understood that which balances human thoughts, feelings, and actions. What cannot balance them might be anything else, but not love. Wisdom and truth cannot come if a person is not illumined by the rays of love. If there is no love, life cannot be manifested in its fullness. People want to live in full, but life by itself originates from love. People of today are not free because they have not come to be of service to love. People need to love for making the world a better place. Love will enliven them. Without love, everything is stillness. Love satisfies all needs. Love bears all favorable conditions and possibilities within itself. Love is the mighty transformer of all forces. There is a special light emanating from the person of love. Even the ugliest one becomes as beautiful as an angel when being in love. The light of love is soft and pleasant. If someone can live 100 years within this light, it will feel like 1 year. Have you noticed the face of a person who is manifesting love? It is shining like the sun. When Moses returned from the mountain, the Jews could not endure the light radiating from his face. They could not bear the light of love. What contemporary culture needs is love. One should study a long time to understand the essence of love. The love that people have is filled with tears, sufferings, and disappointments. This is not the love I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of the love that brings life, joy, and immortality. People are not happy because they have not put love as a foundation in life. If people love, they will not die. I'm speaking of the love that resurrects the dead, cures the ill, and brings the frozen hearts to life. When a person of love passes by a dry, barren field, everything begins to grow afterward. Is someone who has lost faith and hope, who is bewildered by thousands of worries and anxieties, not like such a dry soil. People have not become generous yet. When love visits them, it will teach them generosity. Generosity not sourcing from love is selfish. Love makes it possible for our minds to see the sublime beauty of nature. We usually see only the crude side of nature. That is why we have a distorted view of it. Nature has also a beautiful side, and it is enough for someone to just glimpse into it to perceive that it surpasses in wonder the 1001 Nights fairy tales. These superior vibrations of love purify human beings. And in the future, when one wishes to live long, one needs to love. When the superior vibrations of love pass through the body of those who love, they are purifying and rejuvenating them. Only through love one can cope with the forces of pressure and tension in life by balancing and harmonizing them. To overcome the sufferings that are part of life, a person should have the eternal fire and light within oneself as a manifestation of the divine. By the word God, which has lost its significance in this epoch, we understand the intelligent source that has created the world and has given conditions for life to be manifested. It guides the whole of humankind and reigns over the entire creation. This great intelligence imbues all creation and is at work both within and without. It permeates human beings as well. What the light is for the physical world, The great intelligence is for the whole cosmos, for the entire creation.
The vegan lifestyle is a compassionate way to live that supports life, supports fairness and equality, and promotes freedom. Robert Sheik, vegan.
Fabulous viewers, it's been a pleasure to have your company on today's Laws of the Divine from The New Day, lecture by Master Beinsa Douno, Peter Deunov, vegetarian, part 2 of 2 on Words of Wisdom.